Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar series of researchers in heritage science organized by the interdisciplinary thematic platform of SESİK PTI-PAIS. My name is Duygu Ergenç. I'm a Ramon Kakal Research Fellow at Institute of Geosciences and part of the dissemination working group of this platform. As most of you know, PTI-PAIS is focused on heritage science, and among its objectives is the dissemination and transfer of all the research results of the groups that make it up and of the others. That's why we encourage you to participate in these initiatives, whose intention is to continue doing one webinar a month on different topics, which you can also propose. Today, we have the pleasure of having Siramas Komonjinda, who is going to talk about exploring cultural connections between Lanna and other kingdoms via astronomical alignments of ancient structures. Siramat has a background in physics with graduate and master's degrees in physics from Chiang Mai University and Maidol University, and she has a PhD in astronomy from the University of Canterbury, New Zealand. Her expertise lies in stellar astrophysics, exoplanets, astronomy education and development, history and heritage in astronomy, and archaeoastronomy, to investigate how ancient structures were aligned with celestial bodies and events. Her research focuses specifically on astronomical orientation of historic Thai temples to understand the intent behind their architectural design. She is currently an assistant professor, deputy director of the Center Excellence in Physics, and head of the Earth Space Ecology Research Group at Chiang Mai University. Beyond her 53 publications, she has held roles that bridge astronomy and cultural heritage, such as serving on the organizing committee for the International Astronomical Union, Commission World Heritage and Astronomy Education and Development. She is also in the organizing committee of the Physics Society International Olympiad on Astronomy and Astrophysics. Dear Siramas, you have maximum 45 minutes for your presentation, and then we will move to Q&A session to questions. For those attending, please deactivate your microphones and videos, cameras in the meantime if they are active. Once Siramas finishes her presentation, I will pass on all the questions you have written in the chat. Thank you very much to all attendees and especially to you, Siramas, for being with us today. I'll pass the word on to you. The screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Luki. Thank you for the introduction. So, good morning, everyone in Europe, in Spain, and here is already in the late afternoon, but it's very nice to give a seminar here at webinar. So, as to get say that today I will present a talk on the astronomical orientation on ancient heritage that we find in Thailand and how it's related to other cultures. So it's good to be here. So first of all, I would like to share my slide. Is this okay now? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, yeah. So, the as mentioned that the talk I will give you today is on our study, our research that we do on in Thailand regions and how it's related to others regions, other kingdoms in Asia, especially in Southeast Asia and South Asia. So the topic is on the exploring cultural connection between Lanna and other kingdoms with astronomical alignment of ancient structure. So from this first page from the title, I should explain to you first about the word Lanna. Lanna is the ancient kingdom of Thailand. Is on the northern part of Thailand, and it has a capital in Chiang Mai, which is the place where I live now. So that's why our interest is on the Lanna regions. Just okay, so you already introduced about me. So yeah, so when we talking about heritage and how it's related to astronomy, many people may think about like place like Stonehenge in UK, that they have some celebration. People get together on the summer solstice day or the winter solstice day, and they still some discussion about how these places related to astronomical phenomena like the rising or the setting of the sun, and how the ancient people use it in the past, where it's a prehistorical place. So but in my work I'm not doing the prehistoric one, but we are working on the historic one. And here, first, I would like to explain to you what is the archaeoastronomy, because some of you may be the first time that you heard about this, or some of you may already working on this one. But anyway, I would like to introduce on that. So archaeoastronomy is some study of archaeology and astronomy together, that we doing the cultural context, like how the people in the past record the astronomical phenomena, like the rising or setting of the sun, the phase of the moon, or something like that, and create the calendar related to those phenomena. Or sometimes they use it as for the ethnoastronomy, like star laws, or they have their own name of star, or constellation related to their own cultures. So archaeoastronomy is a very wide subjects, and because each cultures has their own knowledge, has their own language, has their own practice. So it's very varieties on this one. So this is also the pictures of midwinter sunset at Stonehenge. So it's in the um, winter solstice time. Yeah, and as I mentioned, that many people, when we talking about archaeology and astronomy, they may thought about the sun, the sunrise and the sunset. So here I'm showing you the photos of sunrise along 1 year. So it's counting from the southernmost to the most northernmost along 1 year, and that is because of the orbit of the Earth round over Sun, which is a tilt of 23.5 degrees. So in many cultures like this one, the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt is very well known, as it has an alignment with the sun. You can see that the main pyramid, the middle one, and also of the three are pointing to the cardinal point to the northeast, west, and south. And if you stay at the position of the Sphinx, you can see the sun rise in the middle between the two pyramids on the summer solstice. Not the sunrise, the sunset in the middle between the two pyramids on the summer solstice, which is in June. So this is the photos of the summer solstice sunset. So it means that people and there is some record also about the in ancient Egypt, people using the solar calendars as the main calendars for their cultures and for their use and for the agriculture. This is calendar is very important for agriculture. And we can see also here the Shankiyo complex, which is in Peru. You can see this 13 tower, which is on the eastern side of the main complex, and you can see the not the east, the western side of the main complex, and you can see the sun set between each of these tower, and that is then they believe that this is one of the use of this tower as a calendar, as a mark of the calendar, and tell people the time, the seasons, and the time for celebrations, for time for the agriculture's cropping season, something like that. But if you look in Asia, this is the map of Angkor Wat in Siem Reap, which is a very famous complex in Cambodia. So you see that these temples and um, lake, as I may call, they are all aligned with the cardinal point. So it's, you can see that the main line is towards east, and the Angkor Wat here also is a square here with the northeast west south um, alignment. But some temples or some pools is not like this one. It's still a little bit. So what is the meaning of this, and how can people in the past building this kind of structure, very big structures on this direction as a square or rectangles? So, how do they build it? The first thing is that they have to find the cardinal point. So in Egypt and in many scripts, many in that we found in the Middle East, the method that they use to find the cardinal point is using the shortest shadow. So it means that when the sun rises and is set, around the time that they're passing through the zenith, or not the zenith, for sure, the the highest point of the sun. So at this position, it casts a shadow that this shadow should be point to the north if you are in the southern part, if you are the southern hemisphere, or pointing to the south if you are in the northern hemisphere. So if you draw that line, you can find the cardinal point, and then you extended that line and use it as a to make the code the call the coordinate or the mapping of your structure of your building or something like that. But if you look at the in Indian belief, or in Indian scripts or their method, their knowledge, they use another method that called the Indian circles. So to draw the Indian circles, you have to have one stick in the middle, uh, wherever you want to put it, just put it, and then once it's cast shadows during the daytime, you draw that line of the shadow. The black line is the line along the shadows, and then you draw a circles, and that circles when it cut between the point between those two lines will give you the line between west and east, and then you extend that line for the cardinal points and mapping your building um, for the structures. So in Indians or in South Asia, we are mainly Buddhist, so or Hindu, and they have a their own belief on the cosmology, so which is not the cosmology as a space or the Big Bang, but the cosmology of the in the religions. Like we believe that we living in one area, and then it's around there is a like the earth, the heavens, and the under earth, and then in the middle of these things we have a hills to the heavens. So, and that is called the Sumeru mountain. So for this, we it means that we divided our earth into many areas, and to access to the heavens we have to access through the gate of the Sumeru, and then going up to the heaven, and that gate is only on the eastern side of the Sumeru. So for that belief, so it's give us the ideas or the idea of how to build a sacred place, that we have to access only on the eastern side, and the building itself has to be a square on the cardinal point. And for that, we can see in uh, the meanings or this explained as why most of the buildings or pools or temples in Angkor Wat is a square on the cardinal point, and most of the building is a temple. You have to access through the eastern side, which means that you get into the heaven. But the building, the very special one, and I think many of you may visit or would like to visit, is the Angkor Wat. The Angkor Wat, sorry, is the building that the access is on the western side, because it's not a temple, it's a tomb for one of the greatest king of the ancient Khmer kingdom, but it's still on the cardinal point to the you have to you get into the exactly road between the western and the eastern. uh you get into that building on the western gate, and the temple itself, the tomb itself, is on the eastern part of this square. But we can see here that this is the map. On your right hand is the map of what we call the Sukhothai. Oh, can you hear me? Because it's like I'm
Yes, yes, we can
freezing.
hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is the map of the what we call the Sukhothai National Historical Park, which is in Thailand, in the middle part of Thailand. You can see the map here. This is a wider view of the Google Map. And the questions that when we see this square, this is the city walls. There's two city very close, and is sharing the same period. And we can see each pool here with the temple in the middle here. You'll see that some temples is a square, which is aligned with the east and west, like exactly on the cardinal point. But many of them is not. It's still a little bit like this one here or this one here. Also, is either this one is tilting to the south, but these are tilting to the north. So that's give us questions why is tilt, because now if we compare it to the Angkor Wat or the Siem Reap complex, it's not tilt at all, but here is tilt. So, and there is a meaning because like um in Thailand or many countries in Southeast Asia, from northern part of Thailand to Indonesia, uh, we in ancient times, like around 1,000 years ago, uh, we practice as a Hindu plus Buddhism. So it means that our culture is a mixing between Hinduism and Buddhism. So sometimes something we do it as a Buddhist. Some things we do it as Hindus. So there's one things that people in Hindus believe is on the Vedic principles, and inside that Vedic Bible things, they have explanations, or they have a book that used as a principles for architect, and that is called the Vastu Satra here. So if we compare to our other cultures, like in in China, is the same as feng shui in Chinese for Chinese people. So Vashudu Satra principle is that each direction of the cities, of the temples, or of the house, they have their own god, and they related to some elements. Like here, if you're sitting in the middle, so the north is for the god of Mercury, the south is for the god of Mars, and the east is for the sun, the west is for Saturn. And they have elements like water, fire, earth, and air that are in each side or each directions from you. And these Vashutu Shastra principles, they have some like many what should I say, many patterns compare, and each pattern will be used for cities, temples, or your house. It depends, and it's not only that, it also depends on your stars. So it's like when you born in some zodiacs. So it means that um, you related to some stars, and the Vastu Shastra principles that related or good to you will be one patterns, and for the other people will be another patterns. So when some people want to build, like the king, they want to build a city, they have to check which one is best for you, or which star is the best for your power, something like that. And then the city, the plan of the city itself will be aligned with that patterns of yours. So I'm showing you another pattern on the Vastu Satra, the right one. You can see that it's divided into like 3 by 3 squares, and each 3 by 3 will be divided into a smaller square, another 3 by 3. And each position has its own god. Okay, and in the middle is a Brahma, which is the origins. So it's the most sacred place in the middle of the city. And why I'm showing you here is that because this one is the principle that we use, the pattern that we use for the Chiang Mai city, or for the Lanna kingdom. And from here, I've explained a little bit to you that, so because the middle is the most sacred place and it's for the Brahma, so it means that nobody can live here. It's only a place for sacred things like temples, something like that. And for other area, like to this area, is is the place for the royal family. This area is for uh, the monk for the temple, something like that. And all this area, you can see the bottom here. So it means that this area is for the dead people. So if there's someone die inside of this city, they cannot burn or you cannot build a tomb for those people inside, but you have to take them out of the city on the southwestern corner of the city. So for these principles and the related on the zodiac, and also for what we call the lunar mansion, which is similar to zodiac but for the moon. So we have 27 constellation that we call the lunar mansion because it's the position that the moon move every night. Um, they I will skip this because it's too details. They have to build the temples related to those lunar mansions. They have to have a plan of the place related to the Vastu Satra principles. And I'm showing here is this is the Sanchi Stupa in India is around 3rd BC, and you can see the stupa itself. This is a round circle in the middle of this sanctuary. The photo of it is in the top right of the slide. And you can see that this stupa is still a little bit. It's not like a line on the east, not east, west, south, but it's still a little bit. So there is a study in 1992 by Professor Kameswara Rao that um, these temples, this stupa, is built related to what we call the Buddha Purnima Day, which is the auspicious day of Buddhists for Buddhists like me, is the day that related to the birth of the Lord Buddha. Okay, so once you are here on the night, you can see the moon rise and set related to the alignment of these two paths. And the thing that I skip is that because in Asia, in Southeast Asia and in South Asia, we use the lunar calendar as the main calendars of our life. So that's why this place is related to the moon, not to the rise or set of the sun. The other thing is, as I mentioned, that it's not only the place cannot only related to either to the sunrise, sunset, as Stonehenge or the Great Pyramid of Giza. It can related to the moon, as I showed you already, the Sanchi Stupa in India. It can also related to the star, as I say that they have some belief that ourself is related to the stars and it can support your powers or your health or lucky, something like that. So sometimes we will not see the place that related to the moon or to the sun, but it can related to the stars. And to study on these stars or the place that related to star is very important because when you see sunrise today, or you can going back to 1,000 years to the Stonehenge time, the sun rise at the same position. Okay, like it's go from 23.5 degree north or 23.5 degrees south, and we still see it like in that position. But the day we see is can be little different. It's keep different. And why is keep different? And that's also changing the position that we can see the stars in the sky. It's because of the precessions of the Earth axis. Because the Earth, even we all of us know that the Earth tilt 23.5 degree and it rotates around the sun like that. And that give us the seasons, the winter and summer depends on which side of the hemisphere that pointing or tilting to the sun. But that 23.5 degree tilt of the Earth axis is not keeping like that, but it's precessed a little bit. One cycle takes 26,000 years. So it means that today we see the tilts going to the polaris. But sometimes in the past or sometimes in the future, it's not tilting to polaris. Like the photos on the right hand here. So we are in the years of 2026, right? So the orange circle here is the uh, one complete cycles of the Earth axis. So today, the position of the pole is very close to the Polaris, which is in the Ursa Minor constellation. But in the future, the Earth axis tilt a little bit, so it keep moving out of the position of the Polaris a little bit for like if in year 4000 it will be here and it's keep going. So sometimes it can be in 12,000 years from now it's will very close to the star we get here, and then it's keep moving, and in another 2,600 years it will come back to our polaris. So one is still it means that of the position of the star that we can see from Earth will change a little bit. Okay, will change a little bit. It's approximately like every 70 years it change for 1 degree. So it means that if we know that we are pointing something to polaris and we come back in another 70 years, it may not point to our list, but it will point to another positions. Okay. And that is the way that we use it as archaeo astronomy tools to calculate the age of some heritage. So I'm showing you here um, yeah, this is the stone temple in Thailand. We call this place Phnom Rung, which is around 10th century. So what is this place? It's a very it's a big compared to the Angkor Wat. It's small, but compared to another temple, it's quite big. It's a stone temple complex. And every year, people will visit these stone temples because they want to see these phenomena. There will be the sunrise 2 times a year or sunset 2 times a year that you can see through all of the gate or doors of the temples. And here on the left, bottom on the right bottom, you can see the map of these temples. So it's like you're going up the hills to the main complex. And if you are on the western side of the complex in April or October, you can see the sunrise through this, and you have like the photos that taking here of this photo is taken on the day that the sunrise in, and I think it's in of this is in April or in October, not in April, in October. But if you on the front of the temples, also in April or October, you can see the sun set also along this line. But it's still, you can see that it's not on the cardinal point. The road is not exactly east-west. So why? And that is the work that we are doing. So the work we are doing is that to find uh why it's tilt. So it means that one thing, they don't use the same calendars as other people, because normally why we decide on that, because once we see that there is something special or some celebrations, so it's either the birth of the king, is a new year. So there is some script written on this phenomena that once the sun rise and trying to Shivalung, which is in the middle here, then the god will born. So it means that they're celebrating the new year with these phenomena. And what we found after that is that this alignment is not only to the sun, but if we calculate back to the time of 10th century, is related to the stars, and the star is also related to the art that we can see in these stone temples. So it means that it's can we can confirm that our um, hypothesis that the plan of the building, the orientation of the building should related to some belief of the place is correct. So if we visit other place, visit other stone temple, um, I didn't show it here, but if we visit all the stone temples, and that it has decorations or arts that related to another god, the orientation or the plan of the place may tilt to another positions, or is may tilt to the west, as we can see from the Angkor Wat. It's may tilt to the uh, north, as we can see in Pimai temple, which I'm not showing here. So what we do, we also do it in another temples. The stone temple is more Hindus than Buddhist, but here Doi Suthep temple is a Buddhist temple very close to our university. We also see the alignment that is still quite a lot, is still for 30 degrees. So the Doi Suthep temples, this is a plan which is northeast to this site. Okay. And what we found that this temple is has the same belief as the Sanchi stupa in India. And once they see the stars that related to their belief of this place, and they can see the moon rise very close to that star, they celebrate what they call the Visakha Busha, which is the birthday of the Lord Buddha in Thai, and we have a very big celebration on that. So, but one thing, as I already mentioned about the uh, precession of the Earth axis, that phenomena we cannot see it today because it's calculated. The mapping, the alignment is did was did in 1537. So it means that today, if we visit this temple, because we do the field work in 2022, it's changed a little bit. It's changed by around 3 degrees already. Okay, so uh, I written in my abstract that I will talk about what we did in another kingdom. So what we do is that because our knowledge, the design of the Vastu Shastra or the Vedic are related to the Hindu and Buddhism, which is came from India, the ancient Indias. So what we did is that we also trying to do the same things, the same studies in another Hindu Buddhist country or Hindu Buddhist kingdom, ancient kingdom. So we 2 years ago we visit the central Java. So this is the photo taking from Prambanan, which is a very big complex in close to Borobudur. Um, and on the right photos is the photo that we did the same field trip in Sri Lanka. And I cannot explain you more about this because it's these two places, these two country actually, because we did many monuments. We are in preparing for the publication. So what I can say today is that we found that we have some very similar knowledge, design, and we can use the astronomy method to do the try to find the meaning of the alignment of these places. And also there's some temples that we can also find the age or find the year that it might built or planning, and which is maybe some of these places may be different from what the archaeologists believe today, because sometimes when they rebuild the temple, they have to rebuild on the same position, same alignment, but the design or the shape or the art that appears today is from the uh, new building, not the original one. But from this method, we will get the age of that monument, the original one. So our work uh, is supported by many funding agency in Thailand, as I'm showing here, and we are in collaboration with many universities and peoples around the countries from the National Astronomical Research Institute of Thailand, from me as in Chiang Mai University, and we have many people involved in this project. And the another thing is that we, as a researcher in this project, is we don't have people from the fine art department, but we have a support from them to getting into this patrimony, this heritage, this site at night, because when we try to study it, we have to do it at night time to measure it with the stars and try to see what people in the past can see this place or can see the sky from this place. So yeah, this is the photos from what we did, and we also doing it with many school students from juniors like primary schools to high school students, and we try to have a group of students, we have a network of students that working together on this project because they also want to know the meaning of their place and their cultures. Okay, yeah, I will stop my talk here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much, Siramas. It was really, really interesting topic. It's quite different that from our works, and
Yes.
yeah, but it was so interesting. I'll check the chat box if there is a question. Okay, I don't see any question.
Okay.
Maybe. I would like to ask you,
Yeah.
um, sorry, pardon. Troya says very interesting. Thanks a lot for your presentation. I would like to ask you, so as far as I understood, Lana has its own celestial development for the celestial markers, let's say, or it's a shared, let's say, astronomical, let's say, blueprint among other temples. Or Lana has its own distinct celestial markers.
Um, yeah, for if we look at something like star law, the stories about the stars or the name of some stars, Lana people has their own names or their own stories. But for some important place like main temples, the city itself, or the palace, it has to be related to Hinduism because peoples in Hinduism believe that, and I don't know, people in Lanna or in Thailand, uh, people in this area actually, they believe in God, so they use uh, the scripts, the beliefs, the like a Bible from India and mixing it with the local knowledge or local cultures. So if you look at the alignment of the place, is the alignment of the temples is really related to the India belief. But if you look at some temples or house, is is also related to the Hindu beliefs, but with the mixing quite a lot on the local knowledge. Is this that clear? I'm not sure. So, in just in brief, so it's me. What I'm going to say is that important place related to Hinduism, but the culture, local cultures, like what they eat, what they do, the villages or the agricultures, they are mainly related to the local things. It's not related to Hinduism. So it's like has two level, and in the middle, sometimes they mix everything together. Like uh Doisutep temples, they what we did is that we studied the Doisutep temples. We know that it's my important. And people in local people, they have the celebration every year on the Vishaka Pusha Day without knowing that it's related to astronomy, without knowing that it's related to the Hinduisms or related to the something that they have to celebrate. They only knows that they have to go to the temple on that day. So what we study is that we try to find why, we try to find the reasons why they have to do like that and why that day is important for them. Mhm. Yeah. Even in Phnom Rung, the stone temples, in the past they just like we call it amazing Thailand place. So people just visit that place 4 times a year and see the sunrise or the sunset, and the villagers have some celebration. But they don't know that how important of that celebration is for people in the ancient times, 1,000 years ago, and they don't know that celebration is actually marking the date for their own New Year's, for their own planting and cropping. Mhm. Yeah. So that's why it's a our work is like to try to find the scientific reasons of the orientations and try to relate it or try to find the meaning of their culture and try to connect it. Mhm. Yeah.
Thank you. And also, I would like to ask about the studies worldwide. Yeah, I mean, out of Asia.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know other archaeoastronomy? Sorry, research related to other, I don't know, maybe not temple, but yeah.
Yeah, as I showed that some place like Shanquillo in Peru, the Stonehenge, which is
Mm.
very famous. There's some we are working on that. There's many researchers from around the world try to understand and try to find the meaning of this place also. And I think there are many church in Europe that they are try to study, but because I'm not sure that I'm correct or not, but because people in Europe normally use the solar calendar, right? You use the solar calendars, and so the sunrise and sunset position is the most important things. So we they try to find whether it's related to the moons or to the stars like zodiac, the constellation. But as far as I do my own research on this, they are only related to the sunrise on the sunset, especially on the winter solstice, which is now related to the Christmas and the New Year.
Mm.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. But here in Asia, because sun is important, but water is more important for us. We have only three seasons: summer, uh, rainy season, and winter. So, for in the past, for the agriculture society, rainy season is the most important thing, and we
Mm.
want to know when will it be rain. So star and moon is more important than the sun for us. Mm. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for the answer. If there is another question, you can write in the chat box. And if we don't have any questions, we can finish our session here.
Yes. Or you can send me an emails later if you have
Yeah.
any questions or
Thank you.
um would like me to send some papers that I'm working on that on these topics. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you everyone for attending, and see you in the next webinar series then.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
โอเคสวัสดีค่ะ